Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to talk about various data types in Python. In my last video, I have talked about some basic concepts of Python and variables. Guys, if you have not watched my last video till now, please go and watch it. Only then you will be more clear with the basic concepts of Python. Well, what data types are? And why these data types are important? Well, data type is a very vital topic in each and every programming language. It is an interesting topic as well, my favorite actually. So data type is important because if you are working on some project in a real world, you should be familiar with what type of data you are using. Well, it is very important to process that data in that format only, or else you can face some error. Well, if I describe data type in simple words, we can call it as a category. Like the jeans we wear, t-shirts and shirts we wear, they all come under the category of clothes. Then different vegetables we eat, different fruits we eat, they all come under category of food. So there are certain categories in our daily life and these categories can further be categorized. So now let's start with Python data type. First one there come is numbers, or even we call it as numeric data type. In numbers there is an integer, float and complex type. Well, I have discussed about integers, float as well as complex in my last video. Guys, if you have not watched it, please go and watch it first. Well, integers are basically whole numbers. All positive and negative numbers such as 0, 3, 300, 3000, -3, all are integers. Then come floats. Well, the numbers with some point values, or we can say that decimal values, they are floats, such as 2.5, 0.35, these are floats. Then come complex. All the numbers in the form of x plus yi, x and y are here some constant values. So in this form, they are called as complex number. Next come booleans, even called as bool. These are the logical values. Here they can be represented in the form of 0 or 1. We can say that true or false values are boolean values. Then strings, list, tuple and set, they all come under the category of sequence data types. Strings, we have already discussed about strings as well as list in my last video. You can get some basic concepts from there. Strings are immutable. By immutable here I mean we can't change the value inside the string. They are ordered sequence of characters. Well, lists are represented with this square brackets and they are mutable. We can change the value inside the list. They are also ordered sequence of objects. Well, tuples, they are represented with with the brackets and ordered immutable sequence of objects. We can't change the value of tuples. Then there come sets. Sets are represented by this curly brackets and they are just unique objects, means they have unique values, no duplication of any value. Well, the last data type is dictionary. Dictionary is basically our key value pairs. Now let's start with some practical implementation of this data. Well guys, I have already discussed about ints, floats, complex and strings and list as well in my last video, so I will not go in depth in this video, but yes, definitely I will give a brief idea. We all know what float is. Here I am assigning 2.5, that is a float value, to a variable with a name num. Variable, we all know, is a container where we can put our value. So here we have assigned a value. We can print it also, or else what we can do, we can check the type of a variable num. Here we know that it's a float value, but to check the type, I have already discussed in my last video how to check the type of a variable. It's a type inbuilt function. Now here it is a float. Now here I'm assigning an integer value to a variable x, and we can also print the value of x. Okay, we are getting an output. We can here I'm again assigning a float value to a variable a. If you want an output, you can just get it. Python is very simple, very easy. Next, I'm doing a type conversion. We can convert one data type into another. Like here I'm converting a, we know that it is a float data type 5.6, but if I want it in integer value, then we can convert it. Now here if I will if I want to check the data type of b, Okay, here it's int. Here we know that what is the type of a? We know that it's a, but further if I want to check, it's a float. But now if I want to change this type, means float into integer, I can do this conversion like this, int and float. Again, if I want to convert it into a float again, I can do that also. Like I can do that float, and I want to change b into float again. Okay, fine. So it is changed. Now let's check the type of c. Okay, it's a float again, right? We have assigned a float value to a variable first a, then we convert that into an int. We can convert a data type into another data type. We have converted into an int. Then again what I have done is I convert integer into a float value. So here we get a float value. Now we can also convert integer or float into complex or vice versa. So here I'm converting a into complex. Now let's see the type here. It will get a complex. Now come boolean. Boolean simply means true or false values. So here if I'll check that if I check x, here x is what x is actually. The value of x is 2. Value of x is 2 and the value of a is 5.6. Now if we want to check whether it's true or false, whether the value of x is less than a value of a, so it's true. Similarly we can do this boolean. Okay, well now we have discussed about integers, floats, complex and booleans. And guys, one more thing. If you want this code, don't just try to write anything or don't just cram or remember anything. You will get the code. You will get this Jupyter notebook in the description below. Even in my last video, I have pasted the link of this notebook in my description. Go and get it. Well, next comes strings. Strings are really useful to save the text information. Well, in other languages we have a character data type, but in Python we don't have any data type for a character data. We don't have any char. We have actually char type in other languages like C, C++, but we don't have that in Python. Here we represent a string with the length of 1, and if we want to access any element of that string, we can do that with the help of indexing. We will see in this video how we can get a particular letter. Well, I already told you how to represent a string. We can represent it with a single quote, we can represent the string with double quotes or even with triple quotes. Here I have assigned Python to a variable s and I have printed that as. Well, if I want to get the first letter of this word Python? So what I'll do, I'll use indexing. What indexing is, it is represented with square brackets where you will write the variable name. Then in square brackets, just type the index of this word Python. Like here P will represented with 0, Y 1, T 2, like this. Okay, if I want just P, I'll get P. If you want to get just Y, then you can write its index number. Basically you have to write index number with a variable name within square brackets. Let's suppose I want each and every word after this Y to N, not the first one. Remember one thing, the indexing always start with 0. Okay, so here I'll get this with this. And one thing guys, it also works in reverse order, means you can start from N as well, but in reverse order it starts with -1, not with 0. When we start from the left side, it starts 0, 1, 2, but when we do indexing from the right side, from N here, it will do like -1. -1 will be assigned to N, O will be given with -2, -3 and so on. So what if I want only N, the last alphabet only, then I'll write S within square brackets -1 and I will get it. Okay, well, indexing and slicing is used to grab the elements of sequence, but by default the step size is 1, because here what we'll write is from where we want to start our, you can say, string size, and this one is for the last, like 5 or 6 or whatever you want to write, you can write, because it will give only till the last alphabet. And here is the step size. By default it is 1. If you will not write anything here, you will get 1 by default. Let's say I want to get each and every element. You can write it as here 0 and then colon. It will give you each and every element. Okay, right? And if you want each and every element, you just write it randomly. I'm giving, and I don't know the length of this Python. You can also check the length of this string as well using len length function. Here the size is 6, right? So it depends. If you want up to 6, it will give you all the elements, but by default the step size is 1. We are not mentioning it here, but if you want to write the step size, means if you don't want each and every alphabet, you just want the alternative one. Like here I want to go with the step size of 2. Okay, so here P, it will skip Y, then T, it will skip H, then O, and it will skip N. Similarly, we can do this operation backwards also. Like if we want to do the same operation, but here it is giving -1, so it will start the string from N O H, means in reverse order. So you can explore this property of string more. It's very interesting. You can even do the reverse order of your name. Okay guys, let's do a task. This is an assignment for you guys to print your name in a reverse order. It's very interesting. Next important property of string is immutability. Immutability, I already told you, we can't change the value of a string. We know that what is the value of string. S is Python. So if we want to replace this P with X, we can't do that. Okay, we will get an error definitely, because it's a string, and in string we can't change the value of any alphabet in the string. Well, but we can do concatenation. Concatenation means even we can change the value while printing. Like if we want to change this, Python is awesome. We can't change by changing its alphabet, but we can do this. Concatenation, we can do this. Or even if you want to do this while printing, you can also do that. So that's it for today, guys. In next video, we will talk about some basic built-in string methods and about other data types. Stay tuned. Bye bye.